Oh, okay. It
All
always.
right.
Oh, it tells me that you're recording. Cool. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
All right. So here we are. I'm Jordan Thompson.
I'm Trae Gonzalez.
So we are the host of the Makin Bacon show slash podcast. Our whole point of doing this is to get around people that have started businesses and have done some entrepreneurial things that we want to do. And the best way to do that is to interview them, get their backstory. So Trey, why don't you give us a little bit of background on how we started out? Where did this idea come from?
Okay, yeah. So I don't want to drop names either. I was about to just say it. So we had an employee of ours. Well, okay. First off, I've been into real estate and wanting to get into real estate, as in like rentals wise, for a couple years now, and I'm 23 now. The last couple years, I've been doing research, trying to figure out, how I want to get into real estate because I know that's like the path I want to be in. Anyways, an employee of ours, come to find out, he buys a duplex, and so that gets us talking. We wanted to figure out like how he did it, what's going on, how's the experience, all this kind of stuff. And so I ended up coming to Jordan, and talking like, hey, it'd be really cool if we could start like a almost like an entrepreneurship club or something like that, so people can come together and talk about the stuff that they're doing, like in external to 9 to 5 work, like a business, real estate, any kind of external to 95 work, working for themselves. And then so after that, it kind of spurred into, okay, well, free. Why? I mean, we got the internet at our disposal here. Why don't we use it and interview people that are actually doing that? So then it kind of just came up, and we started working on it, and that's kind of how and where the whole idea of talking to business owners and entrepreneurs, the creation of Making Bacon.
Yeah, and I think this started out with your original idea of doing a podcast, which is where some of our channel name, the podcast, came from. And then I think my contribution to this was, well, shoot, if we're going to sit down and record everyone anyway, let's just go ahead and put it on video, share it on YouTube, and I'm sure a lot of our guests will have things to show us if they're doing online sales, e-commerce, or maybe we could get into the vlogging game at some point. But anyway, that's where Making Bacon, the Making Bacon show, the YouTube channel comes from.
Yeah.
So, man, once we started out, so just to give you guys a little background, Trey and I work together, obviously, and so we started out like, okay, if we're going to record people, where are we going to do it first of all? Because I do have an extra room in my house, not really the best setup, but Trey's got at his house, he's got an extra room, and he says, well, we can use it. I've got to get it cleaned out. I'll get it set up, and we can set up a few cameras in there, order some mics, and that's what we did. So he got it cleaned out.
Yeah.
We ordered a mixer, a few mics, boom arm. I think your mom actually had a table there that we used.
Yeah.
That,
Dining room table that she doesn't use anymore. So we just put
yeah,
this thing up here.
and we threatened to drill a hole in it, and she still has not let us live that down.
Yeah. Well, it's not gonna happen.
So we ordered all of our equipment. Our mics came in.
Shout out to
Got it.
Amazon
Yep.
sponsorship. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, go ahead and plug that now. Huh?
Yeah.
So anyway, we got all of our mics in. We started setting up our equipment. We had our first dry run. So now, just to give you guys a little geography lesson here. So I live in North Carolina, in Concord, North Carolina, which is about 35-ish minutes north of Charlotte. And Trey lives in Fort Mill, Indian Land area, which is 25-ish minutes south of Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
And we both work in Monroe, which
Mm-hmm.
is about 25-ish minutes east of Charlotte. So we're separated a little bit geographically, but anyway, we coordinated having these meetings, and I would go to Trey's house, and we would set up these dry runs and say, all right, let's test out our mics, let's test out our settings, and what was that program we downloaded, or did we download it on your MacBook? I think.
The one on MacBook, we used GarageBand to record the audio.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. And then we were going to splice the audio file with our video files from the cameras. So
Yeah.
we borrowed a few cameras, got my phone, and once we finally pulled all that information off of these devices, we had one problem after another.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it was absolutely a relentless process. So what was the first thing we had? Like we couldn't put audio.
First thing was audio. Like it didn't want to split from the MacBook because the Mac has it's both uh what is it called? It has the mic and the audio like headphones in the same port. So using an MP3 from there, you have to use a splitter, and then using the splitter, you have to go into the mixer, and the mixer doesn't want to accept it, and it doesn't want to recognize that it's a mic because it has to have both the mic and the audio like headphones in at the same time. So we ended up having to plug in my headphones just to get it to register as a mic, and then and then plugging into some random holes in the mixer, and then after you get it set up where it actually recognizes a mic, then unplugging the rest of it, and then switching the switching them back into a different port on the mixer, and it was terrible. We figured it
And
out somehow. I don't even know how we figured it out, to be honest.
well, after all of that, the quality was terrible. Like
Yeah,
it came through it was quiet and it was fuzzy. It just had all this. So I think you actually ordered an adapter after that,
yeah, yeah.
and it came in, and we plugged it in. We coordinated another dry run in another week, and we got back, and it didn't work. And apparently, you have to have three rings on that adapter instead of just two, which we didn't know at the time.
Yeah, like the MP3 port I don't know if people understand what we're talking about here, but it's like the little metal piece that actually the jack that actually goes into the MP3 port has like
Mm-hmm.
little plastic rings around it, and if it has only two and not three, it doesn't work. So we got screwed on that too. So we had to end up going back to the store or Amazon actually, I think, because the first time we went to Best Buy. The second time we had to order it off Amazon, and before all this happened, we were actually plugging in the mic MP3 from the adapter into my headphone jack that goes to the mic hole. It was so rigged up, like you had to actually like hold it while we were talking and stuff just to get it to like register. So that's where we came from, and then figured out that we had to switch around the mixer chords a couple times after we got the whole thing. It was terrible.
Yep. Yep. But we got it. That was the
We got
point.
it. We got it.
We got it. So now we go back for a third dry run, and we get our audio finally set up after about an hour of finagling with it. We know what it's supposed to sound like. We know what the settings are supposed to be. We turn on the cameras just to realize two things then. First, they don't have a long battery life.
Nope.
And second of all, we did not have proper lighting, and that's actually still something we're battling with. So you look great right now, by the way, and I feel like I'm a little flushed out. So hopefully you guys will bear with us as we learn through this process,
Yeah.
just to make just to make the presentation a little bit better. But all that being said, the content should still be beneficial if you're trying to start your own business. So, but anyway, we've jumped one hurdle after another. So anyway, we get the lighting set up as our last test run, and I'm going to go ahead and let the cat out of the bag here, Trey. I hope you don't mind.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So about just a little shy of a month ago, Trey found another position. So he turned in his 3-week notice. This rascal found a really good position. I hate to see him go, but I'm really happy for him. And I'm going to say, fortunately and unfortunately, it changed the entire dynamic of this show. So we were no longer going to have an in-person show at all.
Yeah.
So we started investigating this whole Skype device. It's part of the internet's,
Okay.
something that these young whippersnappers use now. It's just a fad. It's going away. Um, but anyway, come to find out, it solved a ton of problems for us. So first of all, we were going to have to change batteries in our cameras every 25 to 30 minutes.
Yeah. The record
So
time's 30 minutes.
yeah, which meant it was going to interrupt our interview.
Yep.
It also solved maybe our lighting problems because now we can have individual studios set up and all that. But third of all, we were kind of limited to guests that were in our typical geographic area. So now with Skype, if you and I are already Skyping anyway, it shouldn't be that much of an issue to reach out to someone a little bit, farther away and get them on the show. So, the other thing that it solves is we were recording this with 3 cameras that we had borrowed, and my iPhone. And iPhone, thank you very much, does not record in an MP4 format.
Yeah.
And when it does, it's massive and very difficult to get off your phone. Apparently, at least both of my brain cells and I had a hard time getting it off the phone. So,
Yeah.
I actually still have one on my phone right now that I have not gotten off yet. So that'll be some content later on in the channel. And so that's kind of where we are today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think tomorrow, today's Wednesday, March 18th, and tomorrow is your last day. So we wanted to get this last one in right before you left. And yay for you. Yeah, Trae, don't throw out a rotator cuff, patting yourself on the back there.
No, I got a lot of work to do, man. I'm stressing out.
That's all good. Yeah, we all got a lot of work to do, and we're definitely going to hate seeing you go. But so we're certainly happy for you. And what we're more happy about is that you still agreed to continue doing this show because
Yeah, that's one thing to do.
it's definitely going to help me. Hopefully, it'll help you, and I think it'll help a lot of our subscribers out there if they're going through some of the same struggles that you and I may be going through as we start our businesses and get on with our financial lives and success. And so anyway. That's it for the Makin Bacon show from what I can think of. Trae, you got anything else?
I think that kind of covers like from the start to now of how we've kind of navigated this whole thing. So I guess whenever I get down there, I'll get my mic and camera and everything set up and try to make my own little nook and cranny of the room so I could record these and we can get on with the actual interviews and whatnot going into next week.
Yep, that's right. So we've already done one dry run of Skype, and it worked out great.
Yeah.
So I'll put a link to that video in the description, so you guys can go check that out. It has absolutely nothing to do with this channel. It will have more to do with Trae's channel once he gets it set up. So Trae's definitely big into exercise. So if you guys are into the gym and stuff like that, go hit him up on Instagram and his channel. We'll put links to all that there.
Awesome.
Yep. So he's definitely more built than I am. So if you guys see me just shrugging my shoulders like this in the video, I'm trying to keep up with him.
Oh, whatever. No, we got him on a program. He's gonna get big pretty quick. Watch.
Well, whatever. So anyway, don't be surprised if you don't hear anything about business in that interview at all. It's got nothing to do with it. But it was just a dry run to see if our connection worked out right and how to upload to YouTube. So we are very, very green in our process of learning how to upload to YouTube, how to get everything edited. So bear with us. We will make mistakes just like most people do starting out in businesses and new endeavors. So we welcome any feedback you guys have, and hopefully we'll all grow together.
For sure. Do you want to talk about our accountability videos at all, or do you want to kind of just leave that out to sometime?
Sure. Yeah, we can talk about that a little bit. So I think it's really important as you start a new endeavor. If you're doing it alone, props to you. If you've got somebody like I do with Trae, we can hold each other accountable. And sometimes that word carries a bad rap. But if I'm going to sit down with you once a week or once every other week and tell you the actions that I've done or that I'm trying to get done, and you're keeping me on track, then I know in advance I've got to bring you a good report or I'm going to hear about it.
Yeah, for sure.
So having that in the back of my mind as I'm working on whatever venture or endeavor that I'm working on, whether it's an Etsy shop or I'm trying to get a certification, or if I'm buying a rental property, or I'm trying to set up a service business, whatever that is, if I've got somebody looped in that I've got to I have to tell my progress to every week and helps guide me from an outside perspective, then it should keep me on track a little bit better. So that's one thing that Trae and I want to work on with each other. And while I haven't really identified exactly which direction I'm going yet, I'm going to learn a lot from our guests, and I'm going to lean on you a lot to keep me on track.
For sure. And so the whole thing with us doing this is we're going to be able to keep each other accountable like you're talking about. But we plan on recording these sessions to release either on our personal and Makin Bacon as like an accountability partner and what that example looks like, or both. It's fine, like whatever we figure out what we're doing. But coming up with action items to do for the next week, moves that you would like to make for the next week towards your goals. Just baby steps, and if you do them week after week after week, there's no way you're not moving towards what you want to move towards. So we plan on recording those, releasing them, so everybody can kind of keep track of what we're doing on our personal channels and Making Bacon. And I'm sure people will see kind of snippets of that and stuff on Instagram and all over the place. So hopefully it's entertaining, and people can get something from it, and find their accountability partner themselves, and everybody can grow.
Absolutely. So, if you want to join us on our journey, we're more than thankful in advance for that. So, subscribe to us. You can watch us absolutely fall on our faces a few times, and watch our successes hopefully a few times too. So, give us a couple of these whenever they come up, whenever you get that notification. And we're both on Instagram. I think you're on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook.
I don't really too much Instagram, and that's mainly the main one. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know from personal experience, Trae's a really down to earth guy. So if you've got some constructive criticism or an idea, I'm sure he'll appreciate any input you've got for him. And
I can take.
I like to think I'm a down to earth guy, so I'll absolutely accept any criticism you've got for me too. And
Cool.
So just hang in there with us. Hopefully we'll all learn something together.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, everyone, thank you all for your time today. Trae, I really appreciate your time this afternoon, and
Sure.
look forward to working with everyone.
Awesome. Let's go.